how lucky I am that I'm going to be sized up by none other than the lovely lady who helped Kareena Kapoor achieve her size 0 figure, though she herself hates the phrase size 0. Yes, nutritionist Rujuta Diwekar is going to tell me whether at 37 I'm eating right, sleeping right and living right. So this is actually a free consultation in the guise of an interview.
Wonderful. You don't look 37. You know, I'm always very, very proud of women who declare their age, because I think, you know, you need a certain confidence to be able to do that. And I thought you were 27,
Oh,
seriously.
wow.
Yes,
She's
seriously.
this interview is going to go very well, I think. You know, it's really finally great to meet you, especially after following your advice, after I read a interview of yours in the newspaper. And I've never had weight issues or fitness issues, but I started following your eat several meals a day, small meals a day, because I was very convinced by your metabolism theory. And I must say here that it works wonders. I feel active throughout the day. I just don't know the meaning of lethargy.
Wonderful.
So I wondered whether we could start the interview with this very invaluable tip, which is eat several small meals a day.
Well, you know, one of the reasons why I say several meals a day is because the way Indians live has changed quite a bit. So there was a time when you could probably be working on the fields and then, you know, having your wife come to you with your meal and then have lunch there and stuff. But today, from doers, we are turning more and more into thinkers, you know. So we sit at one place and we crack deals world over, and we get so busy that we don't eat, and then we are like so going mad with hunger that we don't know what else to do but to just stuff our mouths. So I really think that, you know, we are almost turning into a nation which is going from stuffing to starving and stuffing to starving, and then therefore, you know, becoming maybe the diabetes capital of the world, or, you know, obesity is increasing. You have women with PMS issues, with depression, with almost every single thing, and the only reason is that we don't eat on time. And I think that's the one thing that we all need to understand, that when we are more busy, we need to eat more. When we are not really doing too much, you shouldn't really be eating as much. You know, in the exact same way that we treat our cars. If the car is parked, you don't really go filling petrol in the car. But once it's on the road, you care that, you know, you have your tank full with petrol. So I guess that's the same logic that applies to our bodies too.
So, but can you tell us about the metabolism theory, how the body breaks down the food faster if we keep eating through the day? Because that's what convinced me. For me, it takes a lot to convince me. But
Okay. See, it's like this, that, you know, the kind of work that we are doing, all of us need to do a lot of thinking and reasoning and blah, blah, blah. So we need a constant supply of blood sugar to the brain. The only way that's possible is if we are eating all the time. So if you eat all the time, you all of a sudden feel that your work is no longer stressful, your productivity has gone up, and that you're much calmer and reasonable when it comes to work. You actually start enjoying it. That's what happens at your mental level. At the physical level, your body actually picks up its metabolic rate, because then it starts feeling extremely reassured that, okay, I'm going to be getting the next meal 2 hours later. I'm going to be getting my next meal 2 hours later. So I don't really need to be holding on to my fat stores, because the body holds on to the fat stores thinking that it's not going to be getting, you know, it doesn't know when is the next meal coming. That's exactly why it's holding on to the fat stores. So once the body knows that it's getting its next meal, it lets go of the fat stores. The only way it can let go of the fat stores is with an accelerated metabolism, because right now when you and I sit and chat, the fuel that we are burning is body fat. So, you know, the more fat, you know, the only way that we'll be leaner is if we manage to burn more fat for the same act of sitting and talking. Now, if we've, both of us have eaten, you know, maybe an hour prior, and are going to be eating as soon as we finish this interview, then our body will know that it can burn a lot of fat. If we've already decided, okay, I don't know when is my next meal, maybe 8 o'clock, maybe 9 o'clock, maybe 11 o'clock, but I'll probably do 20 coffees in between, then it has a strong reason to hold on to fat. That's one thing. The other thing is DIT. DIT is something which I love, because it's diet-induced thermogenesis, which means that the body has to up its metabolic rate simply to digest, absorb, assimilate and excrete the food that we are eating. So I really think that, you know, we need to review the way we think of food. A lot of times we think food is calories, but by consuming calories, if your body is going to burn more calories, then why should you worry about the calories that you're consuming. You
Well,
know.
thank you for that very, very clear and succinct explanation.
Thank you.
You know, you say that choosing a diet is like choosing a life partner. And I really like that analogy. But can we do that ourselves, or should it be the arranged way? Should we all go to a nutritionist?
See, even if we do the arranged way, you finally need to take your own call. You know, you can't go and marry somebody because some bureau says this is the perfect match for you. Because somebody may match you in height and weight and the salary they make and whatever else, you know, but if you don't love that person, there can't be a marriage. It's the same thing with food, you know. You can have 100 nutritionists saying eat methi and eat palak and eat this and don't eat that, but it has to resonate with you, with your stomach, with your heart, with your intelligence, and if it doesn't, then you need to let go of it.
You know, many of us think that nutritionists are expensive. So maybe a celeb can afford a nutritionist, but what about 90% of the population? So will a book do in that case? Will reading a book and following it do?
Well, I think one of the reasons why Don't Lose Your Mind, Lose Your Weight is the success that it became, or, you know, even Women and Weight Loss has already sold, you know, quite a few copies. I know the pre-orders were close to 40,000. So one of the reasons why the book meets the success that it meets is because people find the book useful. They feel that if they apply what's written, then they will lose weight. And I keep meeting people who've lost weight after they started following the book, and they often say, you know, I read the book and I lost weight. I was like, wow, that's a miracle. You just read something and you lose weight. But the reality is that, you know, they've read it, they've analyzed it, and they feel that it is something that they can do. So they start doing it because it's quite easy to do it. It's sustainable. It makes sense. You don't have to give up on what you like doing. You don't have to give up on roti, sabzi, dal, chawal, lili, dosa, paratha. You can be having all of that and losing weight. Then I guess it does, you know, I mean, that's how it works. I don't think it's so important to pay somebody. I think it's whether it's paid or free advice or, you know, a book. What really matters is, have you used your intelligence, your discretion to understand what's being doled out? And have you started applying that to your life?
That's the most difficult thing to do, maintaining that discipline. So I think your next book should be how to adhere to a disciplined lifestyle, because theoretically it's wonderful to read, but many people just don't stick to a regimen. You know,
Yeah.
they don't have.
I think when it comes to eating and sticking to a plan which is asking you to eat often, then it's not a discipline issue. I think it's a responsibility issue. You know, a lot of people do not value health as much as they would value wealth or anything else in life. So we do not value health. We almost feel that automatically we should be healthy, and, you know, we will be fit and thin just out of the blue. Just like that, we'll all stay fit and healthy. And if we are not, then, you know, we are completely entitled to be upset with our bodies and ashamed with our bodies, and how dare the fat pop out. You know, shouldn't it just be a flat stomach, just like that? You know, why should I be doing anything for it? That's one thing. Very little value associated with health. The second thing is very little information and serious information about health. So there's a lot of tabloid information. Somebody did this diet and somebody else did that diet, and somebody else fainted and somebody else did 1,000 Surya Namaskars. Somebody's pumping iron for 3 hours. So that's the kind of information that you have. So that's the second problem, not the right information and no serious information. And the third problem, and I'm very sorry to say that, is I think that we don't really love or value ourselves enough, because the only way you're going to be ensuring that you eat on time is if you really love and value and respect yourself. So it's also a self-esteem issue. I really don't think it's a discipline issue, because once you have a sense of responsibility towards yourself and you think of yourself as a very valuable asset, or, you know, somebody who's worthy enough of food and eating, there is no chance that you can go without food for long hours.
Yeah, you know, actually, Rujuta talks about self-flagellation and punishing ourselves. It's a very important sort of theme in the book. We'll be talking about that after a short break. I'm in conversation with Rujuta Diwekar, and she's written this very, very practical and very easy to follow book. It's called Women and the Weight Loss Tamasha. Stay tuned.